Hi guys, this C tutorial is about arithmetic operators in C. We will learn the concept of arithmetic operators, we will write the code, and we will test the result for these arithmetic operators as well. So let's begin. In this tutorial, we will be exploring these arithmetic operators and we will be using two variables a is equal to 5 and b is equal to 2. And the first arithmetic operators is sum. The expression for the sum is a plus b, and if we put the values of the variable, it is going to be 7 as result. The next arithmetic operator is subtraction. The expression for that is a minus b, and the result is going to be 5 minus 2, which is 3. The next arithmetic operator is multiplication. We use a static b for that, and the result is 10 for this case. The next one is division. We use a slash b, and this is the forward slash, and the result is going to be 2. If we divide 5 by 2, the result is going to be 2 and the remainder is going to be the 1, which is our next arithmetic operator, and we use percentage sign for remainder or modulus. The next arithmetic operator is pre-increment. We use to write plus plus before the variable. When we write plus plus a, it will add 1 in variable a and the result is going to be 6. And then we have our final arithmetic operator, which is post-increment. We have to type plus plus symbol after that variable like b plus plus. The post-increment does not increase the value immediately. First it will use the previous value and then it will increase it. I will explain this concept while writing the code. So let's write the code now. I have written the title of this code as a comment line, which is very first one, and then I have added standard input output library, which is stdio.h, and then I am writing here the main function, which is int main. Now first we have to define the variables, so I am writing a comment here defining variables. And since I am using the integer data type, so I am writing here int, and I am using two variables, a is equal to 5 and b is equal to 2. And then I am using these variables plus, minus, multiply, divide, remainder. Now let's write the first expression, which is for sum. So we know that sum is equal to a plus b. And now let's print the value for the sum, and I am writing here printf, and in these brackets and inverted commas I am writing the value of the sum is %d. %d is basically the format specifier for integer data type, and here I'm calling simply this variable sum. You can also select this sum from here as well. And if I run this code, we know that 5 plus 2 should be 7, and it is 7. So this is our first arithmetic operator, which is sum, and we have already learned about this expression in the start of the video as well. And now the second operator is subtract, and we know that it is a minus b, and we can print the value for that, printf, and the value of the subtract is %d, and here I'm calling subtract. And if I run this code, it should be 5 minus 2, which is 3. So let's run this code, and the result is 3. And here is another method to write this. Rather than defining it above, we can also define it here. Subtract is equal to a minus b. And we can run this code, and here is the result. We have the same result. And now moving on to the next operator, which is multiply, and I am writing here in the same line the value of the multiply is %d, and I am typing here multiply, and in the same line I am writing the expression for the multiply operator, which is a static b. We used to type static for multiplication, and here I am copying the same thing for the division. So I am replacing the multiply with divide, and rather than static we will be using the forward slash. And now let's run this code, and as you can see the results are correct. And now moving forward we are left with the remainder. So let's write the code for that. For remainder we only have to replace this remainder with the divide, and here as well, and rather than forward slash we use percent symbol for that, and we can run this code and the value is correct for that. If we divide 5 by 2, the remainder is going to be 1. And now let's talk about the pre-increment and post-increment. And here I am typing the value of the pre-increment, and I should be using some different variables, guys. So here I am declaring two more variables. Int c is equal to 7 and d is equal to 12. And I am using these variables for pre-increment and post-increment. So let's use c is equal to 7 for pre-increment, and I am typing the value of the pre-increment for c is equal to 7 is %d, and in order to use the pre-increment we have to type plus plus before the variable, and I have written here plus plus c. So let's run this code, and as you can see the value immediately increased by 1 from 7 to 8. So this is pre-increment, which means that the value will immediately get increased by 1. And now let's talk about the post-increment. And I am writing here the value of the post-increment for d is equal to 12. I'm going to use different variable for post-increment, which is d is equal to 12. And here I am going to type d plus plus. We used to type plus plus after the variable. And now let's run this code. The value should be 13, but it is not. And it is because the post increment uses the same value first in the expression and then increase it. And in the next line, I'm not increasing the value for this variable d, and I'm just printing the value of this variable d. And here it should increase, and it is 13 now. So I hope it is clear now that the pre-increment immediately increases the value by 1, but in post-increment it uses the same value first and then in the next line it increases it by 1. So that's all for this video on arithmetic operator, guys. See you in the next video.